Good morning. Today we are starting our lecture notes on Unit 8. Unit 8 is Sin, Conscience, and Character. So the outline for today: what is sin? How do we fall into sin? And what makes something a sin? So what is sin? A few basic definitions that are helpful for us. Sin is an offense against God, neighbor, or self. Sin is any thought, word, or deed that violates God's law. And sin is a disordered love for created things over God. So the first two we talked about last week as we did the homework reviews. The third one is sort of a new definition that we haven't talked about. So what we mean by a disordered love, think of it in terms of loving one thing more than another. Now, we do this all the time. You know, we like certain things more than we like others. The problem is when we like some things more than God. Okay, and this can be almost anything. It could be food. It could be pleasure. It could be clothes. It could be popularity, or almost anything. All right. If we love created things, meaning the things of this world, more than we love God, then we have what we call a disordered love. Now, it's okay to love food and clothing, things like that. However, we can't love them more than we love God. That then becomes a disordered love. So how do we fall into sin? So it's a four-step process. First step, temptation. So temptation is the initial thought we have to commit some type of sinful action. Okay, so it's the initial thought that leads to sin. Now, temptation itself is not wrong. It's normal to experience temptation. Jesus himself experienced temptation. If you recall, when he went out into the desert, he was tempted by the devil. And so Jesus experienced regular human temptation just like all of us. And it's okay to have temptation. But the problem for us, and this was not the problem for Jesus, the problem is the next step, when we start to entertain the temptation. And so this is what we mean by affection. So step two is affection. So by affection, we mean we take that temptation and we start entertaining the temptation. We start thinking about it. We start wondering, oh, what would it be like if I experienced this, or if I did that? So that becomes affection. We're turning it over in our mind. Okay. All right. And then that leads to the third step, which is desire. So that's when we essentially take the initial thought and the initial temptation, and we take pleasure in that thought. Okay. So actually enjoy thinking about it. Okay. And oftentimes we can kind of think about it over and over again because we enjoy it so much. So this is the desire for that object. All right. And then, so steps 1, 2, and 3 are all going on inside our heads. All right. But then step 4 is the resolution to commit an actual sin outside of our head, outside of our mind. Okay. So the resolution is when we commit an exterior act. Okay. So steps 1, 2, 3 are interior, meaning they're going on inside our heads and our hearts. And then step 4 is when we do something outside of our bodies, right? Or we use our bodies to commit a sin. Okay. Now, step 3, desire, can be sinful. Okay. Thinking about something that you shouldn't be thinking about can be a sin. Okay. And then step 4 would be, doing that particular sin. All right. So taking the initial thought and then doing it with your body. All right. What makes something a sin? So there are 3 parts of a sinful act. All 3 have to be considered when we are analyzing a moral act. Okay. And the 3 parts are the object, intention, and circumstances. So let's take a look at each one individually. First, the object. So the object is the specific thing that is being chosen. So this will be a thought, word, or deed. So by thought, we mean what we're thinking about, what we're desiring in our heads. A word, what we say. A deed, actions, what we do. So think of the object as the what. The what. Now, if the object is intrinsically evil, then the entire act is sinful. What does it mean to be intrinsically evil? Something is intrinsically evil if it is wrong by its very nature. So it's wrong no matter what. No excuses, no ifs, ands, or buts. It's wrong no matter what. All right, so the object is the what that you are doing, okay? All right, then we have the intention. Think of the intention as the why. So the intention is your intended outcome or goal that you're choosing when making a moral decision. So the object is what you're doing, and the intention is why you're doing it. It's your goal, it's your intended desire, intended outcome. And last one, number 3, circumstances. So circumstances are specific conditions or facts that affect a moral decision. Now, if the object is the what, the intention is the why, the circumstances are the who, the where, the when, the how, those kinds of details. Circumstances can either increase or decrease the goodness or evil of an act, okay? They will affect a person's will, they will affect a person's knowledge, okay? So you have to consider those as well. Now, some important concepts to keep in mind as we talk about those 3 parts. So, first of all, the 3 parts do not overlap. You have to look at each part separately, individually, when analyzing a particular moral action. Number 2, in order for an act to be good, all 3 parts must be good. Object, intention, circumstances, all must be good. Number 3, the most important part is the object. So the object is the most important part to analyze. The reason why is because the ends do not justify the means. So the ends are the intention, the why you're doing something. And then the means are the object, what you're doing, okay, to achieve that goal. If the object is intrinsically evil, then the act will be evil regardless of the intention and circumstances. So, in other words, let's say you murder someone, okay, because you want to get back at them. Okay, you want to take revenge on them. Now, the desire for revenge and for justice may be, a good desire, okay, but that does not justify killing them. All right, so it's very important in Catholic morality. We are never allowed to do evil so that good may come of it. Okay, that's another way of saying the ends do not justify the means. The ends do not justify the means. All right. So we have to look at the object. We have to look at the means. We have to look at the what of what we're doing. All right. And if that's evil, then it's not allowed. We can't do it. All right. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.